Alright, so this video we are going to be talking about File Explorer. Now, I know, very exciting topic, File Explorer. It's a piece of software that if you've used Windows 10, you've probably used for a while, and you probably still don't know everything that it does. And it can do a lot, is what it comes down to. Now, your textbook does talk a whole lot about the File Explorer. However, I think there's a few things that it misses when we're talking about the ribbon. So, overall, I want to do a kind of a brief overview of File Explorer, and then we're talking about the ribbon a little bit. So, first, File Explorer used to, go through all of your documents on your computer. Left-hand side, we have the quick access. We've got our desktop. So, overall, shortcuts for things. Now, if you notice on mine, let me get my pen out. There's all these little pin icons right there. So that is saying that I have pinned those icons to my left-hand side. So my quick access to make my life easier. So if I go to quick access, there they all are, or they're all over here on the left, exact same order, and they're alphabetical. Windows 10 originally does try to put some quick access items in place that it thinks that you want. So it's like, okay, we think you're going to be interested in this folder, or we've noticed you visited that folder frequently, so we're going to throw that over there on that list. I believe I disabled that on my computer because that was bothering me, because I was like, I'm not actually going to all those locations frequently enough, or I don't use that shortcut often enough, so I wanted to get rid of them. So I just made my own list. And you can pin something just by right-clicking on it, and then in a minute it will give you the option. You guys can't see that because it's above my screen. Let's see if I can get like this one. I need a folder. Greg, come on. Come on. Yeah, nope, you guys still can't see it. Anyway, it says pin to quick access. It's the third icon, or the third option from the top. It's all the way up top there. So, but anyway, highly suggest you pinning things to your quick access that you use very frequently. Next, we have our desktop. And this is showing all the shortcuts and icons on your desktop, again, that you might use. So OneDrive, my user information, this PC, OneDrive I don't actually use, libraries that you have, my different hard drives, network locations, recycling bin, yada, yada, yada. So that's what your desktop is showing. So again, these are just there overall to be quick access for you to make your life easier. On the top, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, for those who don't know, yours might look a little different than mine, and that's because of this little bit up there in the top left-hand corner. So on mine is a little triangle pointing down right now, and that allows you to hide the ribbon when you're not using it, is what it comes down to. This is, if you have a laptop with not a lot of screen real estate, as I like to call it, hiding that ribbon might be very useful for you. If you're on a desktop like me, having that ribbon might not be as worrisome. I just realized that I'm a little bit too high. Here we go. So I'm talking about, come on, get rid of that. This little ribbon. I don't like that size. There we go. That little triangle right there. If I just click on something right now, like home, you'll notice that I do get a task or a ribbon that pops up, and then as soon as I click off of it, it disappears again. If you've clicked on it, there is that little triangle turns to a little pin saying, hey, do you want to keep this here, type of thing. So I normally on my desktop have that pinned. On my laptop, I don't normally have it. So it's one of those things that you just kind of get used to and you figure out what you like and what you don't like. But anyway, home has a lot of options going on. So we've got clipboard related stuff. So copy, pasting, copy the path, the pin to quick access. You've got some organization stuff for renaming, moving, copying, and deleting. You've got new folders and access. You've got properties. That one's a very, very important one in my opinion. And then you also have the selection, which is kind of nice, especially this invert selection. If you've accidentally selected all of the wrong things, that can be very handy for you. So this is just the home tab, things that you might use often. I said properties probably is the one I use the most, and that new folder I use pretty often as well. That new folder is also located up here. I think we talked about this already, but just want to cover it all again. Next, if we go to the share tab, all right. So if you're going to try to send stuff or share it with specific people on your network or things like that. However, the most important tab on here, in my opinion, is this View tab. All right. And this gives you everything that's going on down here overall. So we have the preview pane currently selected. Come on. And I want that one. Thank you. All right. So we have the preview pane currently selected, which means if I select a file, it will show me a little preview of the picture on the right hand side. If I change that to details, it now gives me a lot of that information. So I have the date taken, tags. So this over here, if you've already read the book, is what is known as the metadata. All right, so this is all of the metadata that this specific image has. You can see what camera I took it with, the f-stop version, the exposure time. There's actually probably more metadata than this for this picture. Let's go ahead, right click on it, say properties, and then go to details. So if we come down here, you can see I also have a focal length listed, exposure bias, my ISO speed. So some more information here than what is listed over there. But that's kind of what they're thinking is kind of the important aspect of things. So details pane, navigation, we could turn off that navigation pane if you don't actually want it over there on the left-hand side. Personally, I'm a big fan of having that. Next, we have our layout. Oh man, my pen got huge. And I don't understand how this works. Next, we have our layout section. All right, let me box it in again without the big blob. And here there are 6 different options. Oh, 8 different options. All right, so you have extra large, large, medium, and small. All right, and those all actually show you that picture right in the File Explorer area. So we don't have to have the preview plane or the details plane on. We can just have that, and you can even all the way down to small. Oh, small's not showing to me. I thought small did. All the way down to medium, it shows you that, and then small just shows you that it's an image with a JPEG. And the different pictures there mean different file formats. So here you can see a Photoshop versus a normal picture. Next, we have list. So list allows the folders to, or the files, as you can see, to go to the bottom and then start at the top again and then go to the bottom again. So if I open up a folder, let's go with, sure, that one. And let's go back to list view. You can see I've just got column after column. And when I scroll, I go sideways. All right, so notice the scroll bars across the bottom here. Where if I go small icons, it's just a straight list vertically. So it doesn't use as much space up. The details, I mean, you go sideways with it instead of up and down. I hate the sideways. I never use that list command. Details, on the other hand, oh, I use details all the time. And what details does is it gives you, let's go actually turn the details pane off. It gives you more columns across the top. So here you can see name, date, type, size, tags, and we can actually add more to that if we right click up there. And it gives you some of the more useful ones, date created, modified, taken, dimensions, rating. However, you can also go, let me see more. And then it gives you the entire list of all of the different tags that are there. All right, so if I cared about focal length, I swear I just saw that. Yeah, 35 focal length. I don't know. What do I want to use? Let's do f-stop. If I care about f-stop, I could add that list. And then here you can see I have 4.5, 5.6, 5. And I could then sort by that f-stop if I was looking for a very specific depth of field type of picture that I was looking for. So really kind of nice to be able to add those extra columns in. And again, this is pulling from the same metadata. So this is all metadata that these files have on your computer. If we go down even farther, you've got tiles, and then you've got content as well. So I overall probably use details the most, and then probably extra large icons, especially with pictures and things like that. When I'm like trying to find a specific picture of my daughter or somebody, I can scroll through and go, hey, that's the one I want right there. Looks like it's snowing, but it's actually just rain. But anyway, the details I use very, very often. We also have, let me go to my downloads folder because I have it this way. So this, you see how I have yesterday, last week, and then it goes earlier this month. All right, that is grouping. That is this group by right here. All right, so I have group by turned on, and I have it for date modified, and then I'm also sorting by date. So if I go by name, all right, and I go date modified, it does some really funky things there. So it doesn't go, you know, here's the date. It goes for the group 0 to 9. Here's the date modified. For group A to H, here's the date the date modified. If I group by date modified, it's a numerical list in the right order. It just groups them into closer things. And I find this really useful when I'm doing searches for today. I mean, having the grouping turned off, I'm like, okay, where's that file I downloaded? There we go. Nope. Sorry about that. If you go into group by, there's a none option, which I'm actually in right now. Group by date modified. So there's a none option at the bottom there if you want to turn the grouping back off. As I said, that sorting it by the date modified, like my downloads folder, probably my favorite thing to do. It's the one I find most useful. Now, why can I draw everywhere but where I want to? That's really quite annoying. Okay, well, there goes that. Anyway, so we can group by. You could add columns. We've already talked about that by using right click. Sort by again, you can pick. And this is nice because if you have extra large icons, you can't see that those column titles to sort by. So you can still come here and say, okay, now let's go by name. Let's go by date modified, whatever it is. So you also have the item checkboxes, which the book does talk about. All right, normally if I'm selecting multiple files that aren't in order, I hold Control. So if you hold the Control key down, you can select multiple files. They don't have to be in order. And if you click on them again, it unselects them. If you want to select multiple files that are in order, you can hold Shift and click, and that will select everything in between the first and the last. However, Windows now has the checkbox feature, so that puts a little checkbox to the left that allows you to not have to hold Control to select things. You can still hold Control, you can still hold Shift, but you do not have to. Now, we also have file name extensions showing, and this is something that, again, I have mine enabled all of the time. I never disable my file name extension, so that'd be right here. All right, because I like to see specifically what file types are, because sometimes Windows is like, oh, that opens with this file format, and I'm like, I know what that file is. I don't want it to open with that. All right, so like this bin file, if I double click on it, it asks me what I want to open it with. If I right click on it, I can say edit with Notepad++, and it gives me the raw text for that. Probably not what you want to do, but you can do that. So I always have my file extensions showing. Sometimes you also need to change them. So if you have them showing, it's very easy to come in here and just go, this is now a RAR file. And Windows will warn you saying, hey, changing that file format might not be a good thing. Might not be able to use it. You can go, yeah, that's fine. I go RAR. If I double click to open it on my computer, it opens up WinRAR, and I can still open it. Because even though it's not a zip file, or it's not a RAR file, WinRAR can handle zip files as well. I also like to have hidden items shown because that allows me to dive into some folders every once in a while that I need access to. So hide selected items, so we can make things disappear, and we can also change options here. So general view, search, those types of things. Now we get into right below that, we've got our kind of our navigation here. So we have our back button, which takes us back to the previous folder we were in, not necessarily back one folder. So like I'm in downloads, now documents, now pictures, now videos. If I go back, I'm in videos, you think it would take me to libraries, but it doesn't. It takes me back to pictures. Now if I use the up arrow right here, which is up one directory, it takes me back one step in my tree here. So let me go to my Google Drive. So if I click up arrow, it's going to take me to media, where if I click back, it's going to take me to libraries. So little different there, something to get used to. All right, so the back arrow is like going, what was the last web page you were on? It goes back to that, not necessarily in any order associated with that website you were on, but with the order that you visited those websites. Next, we have our address bar here. Notice that it does give it in a bit more of a human readable format at this point. All right. So we've got a little Google Drive symbol, and if you click the little triangle next to that, it gives you a list of your desktop, everything that's in your desktop, so down there. Then we've got this PC, which is a shortcut, so you can actually click on these to jump, so you could be 20 folders deep, let's go to classes, and then this class right here, right? And I can go, I want to go to Google Drive. I don't have to go back 4 times, use the up folder button. I can just go click on Google Drive, and it jumps me there, which is kind of nice. So, address bar, if you click on it, let's go back to classes. If you click on it, it will show you the more what I'm going to call computerized version, d:/Google Drive/HEC/classes. So, this would be more of a traditional address overall as far as the computer is concerned. And then last but not least, we have the search bar. Now, you will notice that once you click in search, we get new tabs at the top. Windows likes to do this. I'm not sure why. I think they just kind of keep the search bar up there all the time, but nope. If you're used to Windows 7, definitely Windows XP, there used to be a little drop-down arrow right here, which would give you all these options, but they decided to simplify things. They're going to put it up here in the search bar as a new tab on the ribbon, which is really actually a better place for it. Everything's spread out a bit more. It's easier to see. So we have, where do you want to search? Do you want to search all subfolders, just the folder you're in? So if this, again, let's go back to classes. Let's go to my INT class. So, do you want to search just the folder we're in, which would just be all the files, not the folders? Or do you want to search, search disappeared, the current folder, subfolder, blah, blah, blah. Current folder just searches the files in this folder. All subfolders will search this folder and all of the folders within inside that and all of the folders within inside that and da 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 da. So it's from this point on. This PC will search your entire computer. So all of your hard drives, all your flash drives, whatever is plugged in, it's going to search everything. I do not believe it's going to search your network location because that is actually not part of this PC. I have a network location mapped, but don't believe it's going to search that. Next we have, what do you want to search by? Which this is the powerful part of search right here. It allows you to search by file type. So you're looking for music, an email, pictures, what is it? So you can specifically say, I want music. So you can select your kinds, you can select your sizes, your properties, your date modified, whatever it is that you want to search for. You can do that, which is pretty freaking amazing in my opinion. You also have the other properties. So what tags do you have? So we could search for a specific metadata point. Date modified, those types of things. But anyway, you can add things. So you can do Boolean operands, use an and, an or, and all the other fun stuff. That is going to come up in the book. So read through the book. That will give you a whole lot of good information on that aspect of things. Next, we have our options. So you have your recent searches, which is kind of nice. So you can be like, okay, what did I search for? Advanced options, so you can look for zipped and non-indexed locations. So a lot of things that we can do. So really quite powerful tool in the long run. All right, that's my short intro to File Explorer.